Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your host, Jackie Chism, back again with another episode of the Chism Sports Groove. That's the CSG if you didn't know. And we got a great show today. We got 2 games tonight in the NFL. We got 2 games tomorrow. So we definitely going to talk about those a little bit more. Definitely got to talk about those chokers in Tennessee going up to Pittsburgh last night. Woof. More about that in Titans time. We definitely got to talk about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly from this past weekend, though. And we got to talk about a lot of NBA as well. I think we also got some bowl games in Vegas, baby. Stay tuned. Also, in my final thoughts today, we're going to talk about the NBA allowing teams to sign replacement players. All right, guys, let's get it. Alright, guys, we're back again. Definitely gonna cover some of these games tonight. Like, dang, COVID is ridiculous again, ravaging through this season. Started off tonight, we definitely got the Raiders and the Browns. I might have to change my pick on this one, knowing that Case Keenum and Baker Mayfield did not clear protocols, so they will not play. They did sign another quarterback off the street. I think it's Loretta. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me. But whoever they trot out there tonight is not going to look good. But if Myles Garrett is available, he still is going to be a game record. I might still just go with the Browns. As long as they can get one of those, they can definitely rely on that running game. And anybody, and I mean anybody, can throw it to Donovan Peoples-Jones and Jarvis Landry. So I might stay. I changed my own mind. I'm gonna stay with the Browns. I think that they're still gonna cover. They're gonna cover that spread tonight. I think it's at 1.5 now. So look for it to be a close game. Look for the last team with the ball probably to win. Also tonight, regularly scheduled is the Vikings and the Bears. They definitely play every year, tough, being division opponents. You've seen each other twice a year, no matter how bad or good or down that game is. I think that the Vikings are still ready to shoot themselves in the foot. They should have gave away their game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they did not. So I think that they're going to return the favor back this week. Look for Justin Fields still to make some mistakes early on in that game, but I'm hoping that I'm looking for David Montgomery and for most of their speed to show up in this one to help him out. Look for the Bears. I'm looking for the Bears to cover that spread. I think it's 6.5 right now, and I think they're going to at least cover that. It's going to be a really close, tough game at the end. The Bears played a lot of tough games, but mistakes and penalties coming, just tear them up. Laps in defenses, which you don't really see from Bears defenses much. I think that they're going to get it together, enough for their 5th win of the season. Look for the Bears to win that one. All right, next we definitely got two games on Tuesday that were pushed back. You got the Seattle Seahawks playing against the Rams. And I'm still going to stay with, I think that the Rams are going to be able to cover their spread. I think it's still at 4. They play tough every day. Russell Wilson's going to be Russell Wilson in this one. He does scare me making a pick for the Rams in that one, but I still going to think that just that offense for the Rams is going to be a touchdown difference in that one. Next, we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington football team. The line on that one actually has moved all the way from 12 from Friday to 6.5 now. I think I'm just going to go with the Eagles on that one because I do believe it's still a touchdown game. If the line was still at 12, I would stay with the football team. But since it's not, I will definitely go with the Eagles on this one. I always thought that the Eagles were going to win this one. Washington just has too many injuries, lack of depth at most positions that they needed. But it's also hurting them. Eagles are young; they're staying relatively healthy, so I'm looking for them to just continuously flying like how they've been flying the last couple of weeks they put together. All right, guys. When we come back, this is gonna be Titans time. Yo, what's up, guys? It's Titans time. This is a segment where me, your residential Titans fan, goes through our weekly schedule and react or predict what is going on next. I definitely think that the Titans let me down in this one. Look, traveling to Pittsburgh is never an easy game, and knowing that they had the final drive, a fourth down, like coming up a half a yard short on that fourth down, is just ridiculous. Losing 13-19 to a down Pittsburgh team that still came out and was fighting and fought the whole entire time. You definitely saw glimpses of Tennessee's chances of being really good, and you also seen glimpses of why Tennessee is not taken so seriously as well. Man, the lack of explosive plays in this game on offense truly hurt us. Not only that, the turnovers. I mean, I think that there was man, I came into this and I already said that the keys to the game was turnovers, penalties, and who knew that I was supposed to also say explosive plays. They came out the game early, playing well, moving the ball down the field. Defense, all game actually was top notch. Shouts out to our defense. I think they only held the Steelers to 133 total passing yards and 35 rushing yards. Man, on every turnover that the Titans gave and within their own side of the field, they definitely only gave up field goals instead of touchdowns. So you love to see us having such a great defense, even with the holes we still had. Buster Screen still played a really good game. Christian Fulton as well. Zach Cunningham looked well in that one as well. I felt good with him on the field. Big Jeff is still a beast. KB was where he needed to be. The coverage is sticky. Our pass rush is still good. I'm glad to see Bud Dupree back getting a sack. Defensively, we did look like the number 2 team in the league, and shouts out to them for the 3 sacks, and they should have had a few more turnovers. But penalties, man, we definitely gonna talk about the penalties. One drive that the Steelers had was graded to 2 or 3 pass interferences, offsides, just stupid penalties, man. It just was a bad sight to see. We played so well defensively. We just did not need those lapses. Oh my God. Taylor Lewan had a hold, but he needed to. It just was a bad look, especially for a team that is usually with in the top 10 in penalties. Now, when we always get into like our undisciplined football, like it doesn't seem like we can just have like a turnover or two turnovers and call it a day. No, it flurries. And yesterday was no different. Like 3 turnovers in 10 snaps. I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it. And the way that those turnovers were just fluky, like punched out by Ferguson. You had the throwaway by Racy McMath, and then Taco Charlton woke up for half a minute, just enough to jump up and tip that ball right to his teammate. And it just so happened that it went right to his teammate. Like, it just was a fluky, like, bounce of the ball type game. I mean, like, the turnovers were ridiculous in this one. Like, it killed us. Like, without those turnovers, Steelers offense does nothing. Like, if we just punt the ball back to them, they're not crossing midfield against our defense again and again. So I'm not looking for I'm not looking for the excuses of what it was just a bad game, or like the calls. Like, man, we had some mental lapses in that one. We had like some bad like juju that we put on our own self for some reason in this one. This was an easy game to win, and they should have had. Now, I also want to talk about the lack of explosive plays, man. Like that, it just was obvious. Like on the first play on offense, if you give him time, if you give Tannehill time, Julio Jones ran wide open down the field. Perfect play call on the blitz and man coverage. Man, like you just seen it. Like it was going to be a long day for them after that. But you don't give him time. He has to swallow it and take the sack. It rang true all day. Like, I mean, the lack of like respect for the deep passing game let them like pin their ears back and just go how they wanted to. And TJ Watt looked like a man amongst boys out there. I mean, like one sack he ran like through 2 people that were holding him and grabbed Tannehill. It was just ridiculous. How can we have explosive plays and you give up 4 sacks and 7 QB hits? Like Tannehill, I am commending you for all the sacks, all the interceptions you throw. Like the one you had that day was ridiculous. Like, man, you get 2 fumbles though. Because one of them, it's a strip sack. They're not giving you much time. But I also think that like their play calling has to be adjusted to know that Pittsburgh was coming after him, knowing that our offensive line was good in the rushing game, but terrible in pass blocking. So, I mean, we got to find some speed, man. Like, just some, like, Nick Respicakina was not fast enough to catch that one. And even then when he came down, his first drop of the season, it just was ugly. It just rang like that was going to be the day. And it was, actually. Man, we got the 49ers Thursday, so that's coming up really, really close. The 49ers looked really good in that game against the Falcons, so I'm not sure what we're going to expect from the Titans. Hopefully we can get like A.J. Brown some snaps and back in. I'm not sure what the call is on Julio, who didn't return in that game, but I would imagine that they had him on a pitch count anyway. They was not going to play the whole game, healthy or not. So I just hope that we can get some explosiveness like for that game against Thursday against the 49ers, because man, we need something other than like a spicy running game, which we definitely. Foreman looks good. Hillard looks decent as well. McNichols look good. So I mean, like we got a good solid running game still, but the lack of play action, like I said last episode, is killing us. Tannehill's the best play action quarterback in the game, and we are not running effective enough play action against people. We are getting the run now, but the deep threat, without AJ, without healthy Julio, without like a Cam Batson, somebody stretch the fields, without even a Marcus Johnson, it's hurting us. I mean, Racy McMath is pretty fast from what I know. So, and he's a tall, lanky guy, a rangy guy. So, I mean, I guess they're trying to get him like out there and comfortable with more passes and catching and route running, so that they can use him as well as like a big body, deep threat guy. But we need it now. Like, I don't think that the 49ers secondary is just that fast. Emmanuel Mosley is kind of fast. Tart's really good, but we're just gonna see how like that matchup goes, and we'll go from there, man. I think that I'm gonna go ahead and call that game as well right now. I think that the Titans are going to play back up to standards this game, only because of our defense. Our offense, if they just win the turnover battle, in which I don't think that they're going to come out there and, turn the ball over 4 more times again in consecutive games, because of Mike Vrabel getting in people's butts. I mean, you just see how he felt on the sidelines, and I think he was just as upset as like anybody who put money on the game. You know what I'm saying? Like he was. I mean, I feel like he's a good coach. He definitely is a good coach, and he's going to do what's best for his football team to get us in the right direction. And look for the Titans to win this one, 23-20. I think that the 49ers are going to be able to move the ball down the field, but I think the Titans are going to have the ball last, and they do. And this time they're going to get it done. All right, guys, that's Titans time. When we come back, Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Vegas, baby. This is the segment where we give our locks chances and wild cards, and in return, we go over the good, the bad, and the ugly of anything we can bet on this week. Like, definitely got to cover week 15 so far. Like, it's been a crazy week already. I mean, games being pushed back, lines jumping everywhere because of COVID outbreaks within buildings. I mean, like, whew. It's crazy times, man. We're definitely gonna go over some NBA as well, because it's Christmas time, so it's time to buckle down in the NBA season, and it's bowl season as well, so we're gonna go over some bowl games. All right, guys, let's start off with my good for the week. I definitely want to talk about those Saints, man. Like, they were on it. Tom Brady couldn't do anything. Putting up a goose egg on the quote-unquote GOAT is ridiculous. Like, I mean, I had to watch that all the way to the end just to see if Tom Brady was going to be able to come back. But, man, that swarming man defense and the injuries that came out of that game was just not a good look for the Bucks. Like, I think that they're going to need some time because hamstring injuries are terrible. And as a Titans fan, watching Julio going through his hamstring injuries, watching Marcus Johnson go through hamstring injuries and in and out of IR, it's not a good sign, man. So losing Leonard Fournette and Godwin, Evans last night as well, the first two respectively had their hamstring injuries. Like, you look for them to get healthy soon because the playoffs are right around the corner, and Tom Brady definitely needs all his weapons. He cannot be short of any. So good luck, Saints. I mean, I'm glad I called that in the wild card. So, like, I mean, Sean Payton had the number again last night, and it's just crazy to see. It's crazy. Also, I want to talk about those Bengals last night. Like, they definitely came through and covered the line. made sure that like they didn't lose a trap game that could have been with the Broncos. The Broncos are still going to play really hard, even though they're having a down year. Don't trust them still, and you see why. Now, we're definitely going to go right into my bad for this week. I definitely think that the Pats looked bad in that one. They should have had a chance because Carson Wentz turned around in the second half and like made that game closer than what it could have been. I think that Mac Jones is still a rookie quarterback, and he still is going to have some learning curves and things that he's going to have to get better at in due time. It's not right now. So I think that the Patriots losing that one was not a good sign for them at this moment. They're going to have to be able to play against a team like the Colts that they might see in the playoffs. All right, next I got the Green Bay Packers in the bad. I think that they should have lost that game last night. If you have a backup quarterback, you're down one. Going into like the end of the game, you just scored 13 straight points. I mean, the momentum's all on your side. Why not go for the win? Why not? I mean, it's one of the better teams in the league. Do you really want to risk giving them the ball back with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I would not. Your defense gave up 31 points at this point. So I would not. I would trust the team, my offense that just scored 13 straight points and put up 30 to this point up on their defense. So I would have definitely have gone for it just by that factor alone, where we at in the game and how much success Tyler Huntley's had to that point. He's looked really good in his backup roles for Lamar Jackson, and that's really commendable. Like, every team definitely needs a good backup quarterback. And you see why. Like, I mean, would I really trust the Titans' backup quarterback, Logan Woodside? I mean, I've never seen him do much, so I wouldn't know. In preseason and training camp much, like, nah, I ain't seen him do much, so I would not know. All right, guys, I got a terrible ugly this week. What is going on with the Cardinals? I mean, like, it looked like the Cardinals showed up in the Lions jersey and the Lions showed up into the Cardinals jersey. The way that, like, Kyler Murray was just so ineffective, like, throughout that game, the way that Jared Goff moved that offense up and down the field, the way the running game was hitting for the Lions, ball control, getting into the end zone when chances instead of taking 3 points. Like, I said that the Lions do play tough, but you just thought that the Cardinals were going to come back after a tough loss that they had to the Rams the week before. But that was not the case. Good Lord. They're still at the tops of the NFC, but you got some real questions about them right now. Ooh. That is pretty ugly. Back-to-back losses, and one of them is to the Lions. They're ugly for this week. I mean, they're gonna have to do some work next week to get out of it. All right, guys, we're definitely gonna start covering some NBA primetime games going on. So Monday tonight, we got the 76ers traveling to Boston to play the Celtics, and I think I'm going to go with the process on this one. I'm going to trust the process. And Joel Embiid, who was my preseason MVP, is going to show out in this one. I don't trust Boston that much. They haven't given me a real reason to trust them. So I'm just going to roll with the 76ers, who are actually playing pretty well right now. Next, we got the Golden State Warriors traveling to Sacramento to play the Kings. And I think I'm just going to go with the Warriors in that one. Only because whatever you throw at the Warriors right now, like, they have, like, a 3-ball to answer it. Like, I mean, like, they don't respond with nothing else but a deep 3 in your face. it's fun to watch. I would hate to play against it right now. All right, Tuesday we got the Pacers traveling to Miami to play the Heat. The Pacers, I think that they should start looking to deconstruct that team and see what they can get for those pieces. Like, they're not playing too well right now, even though they have like a starting five that I think most teams would be intrigued about. With Malcolm Brogdon, with Karis LeVert, with Sabonis, with Miles Turner, T.J. Warren, those are not scrubs, man. Those are actually decent players. Malcolm Brogdon is playing up to par, like ever since COVID hit. Like, man, even before then, when he was with the Bucks, he was a really solid player. Miles Turner is a great player as well, great young player. Sabonis is a great young player. I mean, like, T.J. Warren was in the bubble lighting it up, and he can get buckets any night. I mean, like, you like Karis LeVert. He was a big trade piece for the Nuggets. For the Nets. I'm sorry. And like coming back to the Pacers and being able to play, he's like been pretty decent as well. Like, what you thought for what you can get from him. Been saying that though. That's why I'm saying like they should definitely like do these, because they're going to lose this game against the Heat, and I just don't think that they're up to the Heat and that like top wing of the top two tiers of the Eastern Conference. So like it's time to like figure out what you can get forward and what works best for your young pieces that you want to keep around. Next, also, they got the Phoenix Suns traveling to Los Angeles to play the Lakers. I think that the Lakers are getting better, even though AD's only missed like a good chunk of another chunk of games with an injury right now. I think that Isaiah has not been a disappointment. Like, he's been a really good player for them right now. Like, came off the bench and shot well, but Phoenix is running up and down the field. Their defense is lights out. It's something that Phoenix has always missed. Like, I still want to commend Chris Paul every chance I get for being that leader that they need offensively and defensively. He's the one of the best point guards and field generals that you've ever seen, because he can command that offense and that defense as well. I mean, they have so much youth and length on that team. It's lovely to see. Devin Booker is back and he's wet like he usually is. Like, I know. Devin Booker is back and he's lit like he usually is. I mean, so I'm gonna go with Phoenix in this one, and I like where they're at right now. All right, next we got the Cavaliers traveling to Boston to play the Celtics. I mean, I was completely wrong about the Cavaliers in that game. They definitely played up to their record, spanking the Bucks this past weekend. I mean, like, the Bucks had no chance of winning that one, and I was just like dumbfounded watching that game. Oh my goodness. Whew. I like what I see from the Cavs, and I don't like what I see from Boston right now as well. So look for that defense from the Cavs, which is pretty good. Like, to continuously clamp down on that Celtics team. I'm going with the Cavs in that one. Also that night we definitely got the Clippers. Yeah, traveling to Sacramento to play the Kings. That one's gonna be a little bit closer than the Warriors that just came in. Look for Paul George still to go off whenever, as much as he can. I think he's gonna continuously play at that MVP level, because that's what his team needs right now. And I think that actually I'm gonna stay with the Clippers in that one. So shouts out to PG-13, man. Keep playing, man. Keep doing what you do. All right, Thursday we got Atlanta traveling to Philly to play the 76ers. I actually like Atlanta in that one, only because of the matchup. Atlanta has been so iffy. I think they're about playing 500 ball right now. So, I mean, I think that they know how to play the 76ers. Trae Young is in protocol right now, but if he's able to get out for that one, I'm just gonna stay with the Atlanta Hawks. But if not, I'm trusting the process again. So it just depends on like the luck of the Hawks right now. Also, we got the Spurs traveling to LA to play the Lakers. I actually think the Lakers are gonna be able to outwit the Spurs in that one. I think that they're gonna have just enough firepower on offense in that game. Hopefully, they're able to get out and transition more, because again, they have two of the greatest transition players in the NBA history. LeBron, I do believe, is the greatest one, and offensively and defensively, and Rondo is like perfect proof of that defensively. And who's still stopping that freight train running down the court? And secondly, you got Russell Westbrook. So I mean, like, those two need to crash the boards, get in transition. Like, I think that the Spurs will not have an answer even without AD. I think that Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan still should be able to be active and big enough to give Pirtle some problems in that one. And then he be a good, decent rim protector. But I don't think that the Spurs are going to light up anybody and score points in this one. So I'm going with the Lakers. All right. Now we're going to go over some Christmas Day games, man. Like, that's one of my favorite things to do, is like get just crap full on Christmas Day and watch some good NBA games. Usually there's some NFL games on as well, and I think there will be some Saturday games on as well. And this one, because Christmas is on a Saturday, but I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna be just as full as I can be, and trying to make sure that I find my spot that I don't have to come out of. All right, we're gonna go quick fire right quick over the games today. Over the games on Christmas Day. We got Atlanta at New York Knicks. I'm definitely going with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not trusting the Knicks right now until they figure out what they're doing. We got the Celtics traveling to Milwaukee to play the Bucks. I'm going to stay with Giannis in this one. If he's available for that one, I think he's vaccinated. Don't quote me, but he should just be waiting on some positive tests. And Christmas Day is like a good day, couple of days away. He might be able to play. If not, Chris Middleton still should be enough through Holiday. That team is still a good team. So, I'm still in the shower with the Bucks. We got the Warriors at the Suns. I mean, this is going to be a good one right here. This is one I'm probably going to be tuning into no matter what. Because this is a showdown of like what just happened. The Suns were able to corral Steph Curry last time they played. So Curry's going to be playing on national TV in front of everybody. Watch him. I like for him to go off. And I want to see how the Suns return. I'm going to go with the Suns again in this one, because they just have a lot of firepower that they can match, and their defense is top notch as well. Look for the Suns to get this one as well. Next, we got the Nets traveling to the Lakers. I'm going with the Nets. If KD and James are out protocol, I am not assuming that Kyrie's gonna be for that one, because it is in California, and I don't think he's able to play in California or in New York. So he won't be able for that one no matter what. But if James and Kevin Durant are able to play in that one, look for them to dominate that one as well. All right, last game for Christmas Day, we got the Mavs and the Jazz. I'm going to just stay with the Jazz on that one. They're playing pretty good ball right now. As long as they keep Donovan Mitchell healthy and going, they're going to be a problem until the playoffs. And then, after the first round, they usually do what Jazz do. All right, we got some bowl games this weekend as well that I want to definitely cover. I'm excited for bowl games. I'm just gonna start off with University of Texas at San Antonio, UTSA, versus number 23 San Diego State. I think that San Diego State is a 3-point favorite in this one. Being that they're ranked 24th, I said 23rd, but 24th in the nation. They've had some really good games. They played against some really good opponents. UTSA is on it's a Conference USA or one of those lower levels, as well as San Diego State. Wow. But I think they're going to cover that spread. I like their offense. I like the way that the recruiting's going. I like the process that they've had for their rebuild. They've had some talent some talented teams over the past few years, and they've made a few bowl games. So has UTSA, but I just don't think that they're just going to be able to keep up with San Diego State this year. Next, we got a battle in Florida. We got UCF, University of Central Florida, against the Florida Gators. I actually think that the Gators are like a 6.5-point favorite in this one, but I don't think they're going to win. I think that they're just too much turmoil. They give too many turnovers. I've kept up with SEC football forever now, and I just don't see how that undisciplined team is just going to stop the bleeding against an actual pretty disciplined, pretty decent team in Central Florida. So I'm gonna go with Central Florida in this one, not only cover the spread, but to win that one. Next is a close game for me. This one's real near dear to my heart. We got the Hawaii Bowl, where University of Memphis is traveling to Hawaii to play the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii themselves. I like both of these teams. I'm a huge fan from the University of Memphis and of Hawaii. I just was a fan of Cole Brennan growing up, RIP, and just that June Jones offense, that slinging them around, light them up, offense that they had. I've been keeping up with them ever since. Cole McDonald. I mean, they got a good young quarterback there now. I'm also from Memphis, so it's just been default that I've watched University of Memphis my entire life. So I actually think that University of Memphis has enough speed, enough talent to keep up offensively with Hawaii, and I think that they have enough defense as well, on the defensive line especially, to keep some pressure on that Hawaii offense that loves to run and gun. So I'm looking for University of Memphis to win this one and cover the spread of 8.5 points. All right, guys. When I come back, we're gonna definitely go over my final thoughts. All right. All right, guys, we're back again. It's time for my final thoughts for the day, and we're going to talk about how the NBA is now allowing teams to sign replacement players. What does that mean? That means that the NFL and the Players Association has agreed to scrap the limit of games that two-way players can play. So originally it was probably about a 10 to 50 game or something like that limit that you can use between for your two-way players, they have to be signed to your active roster, or you have to send them back to the G League. But right now with COVID outbreaks ravaging through entire teams, you just have to adjust and be able to use those players for however long you need to, and that's exactly what they agreed to. I like to see it because you definitely want to keep those pieces that you are progressing and using. You never know what you might get, because there's plenty of G League players that are pretty big names in the sport right now. Fred VanVleet is a very good player. Pascal Siakam is a very good player. He got his first All-Star last year. I mean, and both of those came from the G League. So if you have really good teams that are really good at developing their talent, you want to be able to use it and keep it and like just be able for as long as you need to. So that's a good sign for the NBA, especially with the crazy outbreaks that's going on. I mean, like, the Nets had Kyrie, James, and KD all in COVID protocol. Giannis is in COVID protocol right now. I mean, Trae Young's is down with a positive test. Even like Frank Vogel's out for the Lakers. The head coach, he's out. So I mean, like, there's so much going on right now that, like, so much uncertainty that you have to have like the flexibility to keep the players on your team, like, you know what I'm saying, like, to keep active rosters available, because some teams are down to 8 players right now, and you gonna run all 8 of them. You know, like, a twisted ankle is going to derail your whole game, and no team wants to lose like their positioning for winnable games, like for the long stretch of this season, you know, for like COVID reasons. So I mean, shouts out to like to the NBA and the Players Association for coming together on that one, responding real well. Hopefully they are instructing like more testing, more oversight of contact tracing, so that they can keep this down to a minimum. Because like, you never want to see a team full of like G League players. I was watching the G League game the other day, and it just ain't the same, man. It's almost college without the rah-rah. So like, it's a lot of turnovers, a lot of missed open shots, a lot of blown defenses, and not a lot of attendance. So definitely keep like NBA talent in NBA circles. I like that. Alright guys, that's another episode of the Chism Sports Groove. Again, I'm your host, Jackie Chism. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit that comment if you had something to say. Definitely want to give a shout out to everybody in the Chism Channel organization that had a hand putting this together. Can't do it without you guys. Until we meet again, guys. Peace.
Brought to you by the Chism Channel and TCC Productions.